It is a great time of joy, and joy is healing. Joy and ecstasy is really healing. To have a high level of joy and to receive it in at regular times during the day, to just let that joy flow, let it flow from the top of your head to the tips of your toes, is a very healing thing to do. And so I have to have my regular times of joy. That's one of the reasons why I make these videos of joy, about joy. All through here I have videos of joy all through my channel. And it keeps me on a joyful footing all the time and keeps healing power flowing. And I'm feeling that healing power flow right now. Every time I need a little more healing power, I get in one of these times of joy like I've got right now, where I'm just feeling marvelous, marvelous, marvelous. The joy is flowing. Let the joy. It is time for happiness. It is time for joy. It is time to let that great peace flow, that great joy flow, that great happiness flow through you. Happiness and joy. Oh, yes, there's nothing like that joy that can flow. The joy can get down deep within your soul and give you all sorts of energy and all sorts of flow of power and all sorts of a flow of creative activity. It can get in your mind and cause you to think a lot clearer. It can get in your body and cause you to dance and dance and dance. And it is just a wonderful thing, when you cause that, you let so much joy come in that it actually lets all of the different parts of your body and the cells and all in your body dance. Just dance and dance and dance and get into harmony. Just dance their way into harmony. And right now I'm letting myself just dance my way into harmony. And peace and joy like never before. Let the joy flow. It is time for joy. It is time for healing power. Oh, let the healing power flow. Oh, let the joy come in and go. Oh, let that joy come in and flow. Let all of that power go. Oh, yes, we let the joy flow. Oh, yes, we let the power go. Oh, the let the joy flow. Oh, Lord, let the joy flow. Let the happiness be. Oh, let our mind see. Oh, the joy that be. Oh, let the joy flow. Oh, it's time for the joy and happiness. It is time for a great joy, a leaping joy, a great and leaping energetic joy. It is time to let it flow like never before. Let it flow like never before. Receive it in. Receive great joy. Receive great joy. Receive an ecstatic joy. Receive an utmost joy. Oh, receive an elation of joy. Receive that joy that puts you on the mountaintop. Receive that joy that takes you out of the valley. Receive that joy that causes you to just glow all over. Oh, joy. Receive that joy. Yes, receive. Receive it now. Let the joy flow. Let the joy flow. Oh, yes. Let yourself go and let the joy flow. Oh, yes, that joy. That great joy, it just does miracles. It just does wonders. Oh, yes. It'll do wonders for you in every way just to let that joy begin to flow. And it is time. It is time to feel that energy going through you. Whoa, yes. Just lift up your eyes and receive all of that joy. Oh, yes. Just know that that joy is going to flow. Oh, just know that the energy will let go. Oh, dear God, let the joy flow. Let the joy flow now. Let the joy get ever more energetic and ever more energetic and ever more high and fast. Oh, let the joy get an ever more glow and ever more power and ever more energy and ever more healing. Joy like that is a healing. It is so healing for you. Let that joy flow through every cell of your body. Just visualize it going through every cell and every organ of your body. Just let it go and let it flow and let it go and let it flow. Oh, it is time for joy to flow. Oh, just now we got to get that happiness going. We got to get the happiness going. See, you got to just do that. You got to just say, I'm going to let the happiness flow. I'm going to receive the joy. I'm going to let it flow. I'm going to ask for joy. And then I'm going to receive the joy. And then I'm going to enjoy the joy. And you've got to just keep that joy flowing and just keep it flowing. Don't just ask once, but keep asking for more and more joy. And expect the joy to come. That's one of the things there too, is we've got to expect that joy to keep flowing. And we've got to expect more joy today than we had yesterday, and more joy tomorrow than we'll have today. And we got to expect moment by moment for the joy to be more than it was before. Oh, yes, that's a wonderful thing about this, is we know that the more we practice this, the greater joy will come the next time. And it works like that. And it has worked like that for me. Every time I practice it, it gets better. And every time I expect a little more joy, the joy that I get outshines what I expected. And that is the way that it is. Oh, yes. You ever stop and think about the fact that if it's like pitch dark at night, or you're asleep maybe, or waking up during the night or something, and it's dark and outside, and you're thinking, oh, I know that sun's going to come up in the morning, and it's going to be bright and everything like that, and pretty and beautiful coming up, in the east and so forth. And you start picturing that in your mind about what that's going to look like and everything. But when you actually get up that next morning and go out and outside and look at the sunrise, it's always 100 times more beautiful than anything, to actually see it with your own eyes than it is to try to imagine it in your mind. And that's the way this joy is. If you start imagining this joy, when the joy actually starts flowing, it's going to be 100 times greater than anything that you could imagine that it could be. But that exercise of the imagination helps you to prepare you for the real joy when it does come. You've got to expect it a while and start raising expectations and trying to imagine it and trying to imagine more and more having joy. And then that gets you into the place where you're clearing the channel for the joy to flow. So there's a process that goes into clearing the channel for that joy to flow. And you do have to practice it. You do have to practice letting the joy flow. It's not something that it just comes without ever doing, without ever putting a little effort into it, a little effort into receiving it, a little effort into practicing it, a little effort into getting in the habit of it. That has to come through a habit. You have to get in the habit of joy and get in the habit, get your channel clear and get your channel in the habit of allowing that joy to flow through it. And so that's something that we have to do as an exercise every day. Is I'm going to clear my mind of everything that's in that channel of my mind and in that channel of my thoughts that's interfering with me having joy. You don't really realize that, but you're all stressed down from the day's activities, perhaps, or worries that you have, and worries of what's going to happen tomorrow or some other day down the road, and that worries you to death, and that keeps on your mind all the time. And you've got to stop and clear all of that off and let it be completely blank, where it's just like blank, just like if you're in the middle of the ocean, and nothing, you cannot see anything but water everywhere you look, and then your mind is just, that's your mind, is just that water, going this way and that way, and nothing else there, but just to visualize, there's nothing there but that water, and there's nothing on your mind except that what looks the same every direction. It's just a blank mind. Just a blank mind. You don't see anything. You don't see no trees, no mountains or anything. You don't see any of those bad thoughts or any of those stressful thoughts or anything, but just a calm water. And you get your mind completely clear of everything, so that your mind's not thinking of anything and at all. And then then in that vacuum, then you bring in and you start expecting that joy, and you start asking for that joy, and that joy can begin to flow and through a pipeline that it doesn't have any resistance in it. All that resistance is gone. There's nothing there to stop it. You don't say, yeah, I would like to feel joy, but this is going to happen. Yeah, I like to feel joy, but what about this person said this? And I like to feel joy, but I got to do such and such in a couple hours. And I'd like to feel joy, but, I might, later on, I might run out of time if I don't stop feeling joy and do something here. I got something coming up. And you got to get all that off of your mind and make way for that joy to really flow, and so that it can really come in and flow just like a high pressure water through a hose, with no resistance in there. If it's full of rocks and dirt, we'll see, then it won't flow. It won't be able to flow completely through without just slowing it down. All the rocks and the debris and everything will slow the water down, and maybe if you get enough of it in there, it'll just totally stop the water flow altogether. You got to get all that out of there so that free flow, that water just flow just at high force, great speed and great force coming out. You got to let that joy flow through your mind the same way. Just flow at a high rate of speed, the joy begins to come in, and it comes overflowing, and it becomes overflowing, and it becomes more powerful, until you're just shouting, until you're just hollering, until you're just screaming, until you're just running through the house, until you're running through the yard, and you're running, and you're praising God, and you're thanking God, and you're thinking everything more powerful than you, all the angels. Maybe you think of Michael the Archangel. Maybe you think the Mother Mary, or whoever you're wanting to think that you feel a closeness to. Maybe parents or grandparents or great grandparents that have gone on before. But get with that and start thinking about that. Let that joy flow, and then start thanking them for the things that they have done for you, and start being grateful for the country you live in, and just continue to let the joy flow, and let the joy flow, and let the joy flow. And if you just keep doing that, and keep letting that joy flow, and keep being grateful, and keep being happy, and keep thinking more happy thoughts, and more grateful thoughts, and more joyful thoughts, and then you just drive out all illness and all disease, and all the disease formation, that you just gradually just draw them out. You just gradually just wash them all out, all of that out of your system, all the poisons out of your system through that joyful thoughts that you just pour in. All them joyful thoughts, continually pouring in joyful thoughts, one joyful thought after another, until nothing else has time to enter into your mind. You got one joy. Just line up all those joys, and you'll get into the practice of it, and you'll have more joyful thoughts that you can put there every day, and you'll have so many of them that you can just line them up and go through them at a high rate of speed, and just get more and more joyful. But thinking about it, how you're prosperous in this area, how you feel good in this area, what's happening in this area, how you're grateful in this area, how you have happiness in this area, and just let all that joy just begin to flow, and let it begin to flow, and let it begin to flow, and let it begin to build up, and let it begin to wash out anything unlike itself. And oh, dear God, I like to pray for that joy. I like to receive that joy. I like to feel that joy. I like to have that energy of that joy. And I'm going to pray now for everyone that's hearing this, that you will be able to clear your mind and get the joy flowing. I just pray that you have great joy, that great joy that'll lift you up to the mountain heights. This lift you way up to the mountain heights of joy and peace and happiness in every area of your life. It'll just lift you way above all your troubles, and lift you way up into a high mountain of happiness and joy above everything, and out of all sense of depression, out of all sense of blues, out of all sense of anything, any kind of thought of obsession, oppression, or depression. And out of every sense of low feeling, and into a great sense of happiness and joy and gratitude of every kind. And you'll just be so thankful that you went through these exercises. Be so thankful. Just thank God that you've got these exercises you can go through, that you've learned about this, and be grateful, and tell him you're grateful that you learned about this, and just be joyful about that. And now I pray that if anyone is ill in anything, any kind of incurable, any kind of disease, curable or incurable, Father, in the name of thy Holy Son Jesus, heal people, raise them up out of every disease or sickness they have, curable or incurable. Raise them up out of every pit they may be in, incurable and incurable. Raise them up out of any addiction that they may be caught up in, any bad habit they may be caught up in. Just deliver them right now in the powerful name of thy Holy Son, Jesus. Amen, amen, and amen. Oh, dear God, just lift up our joy. Let our joy flow greater and greater and greater until it heals us of all diseases. Heal us of every disease that we could ever have, every unhappiness, and there'll be no feeling of unhappiness, no feeling of loneliness of any kind, but nothing but great energy and joy. Now I pray in the name of the Holy Son, Jesus. Amen, amen, and amen.